This video is brought to you from the Salesman.org HubSpot studio. Do you want to know the most important trait of sales success? Then stay tuned. We've had thousands of salespeople go through our sales code assessment over at Salesman.org, and we found that there are 12 traits of highly effective sales professionals. High-performing salespeople like Walter, who surpass their sales target every single time, have more of these traits than average-performing salespeople like Sam, who hits their sales target every now and again. And one of the most important traits that we measure for in our Salesman.org sales code assessment is what we call sales hustle. And our data shows that if you have what we call sales hustle, which I'm going to explain in a second what that is, you can learn and develop all of the other traits of sales success over time. That's why sales hustle is so important to long-term sales success. So Will, with that said, what the hell is sales hustle and how do I know if I have it? Well, to answer that, we need to go to the whiteboard of truth and justice. So what is sales hustle? It's dead simple. We can describe it in an equation. Sales hustle equals perseverance times passion. Sales hustle equals perseverance times passion. Which leads us then onto the question, how to develop more perseverance and more passion in our sales role so that we can have this all-important sales hustle that leads us to become high-performing salespeople. It's dead simple. Let me quickly run through it. To increase your levels of perseverance, you need 3 things. 1, 2, and 3. You need to understand what resistance is. And resistance is just the fear of success, the fear of failure, the fear that you're going to look bad. Resistance is this force that's pulling at your heels and stops you from being the best salesperson that you can be. Step 2 to increasing your perseverance is to beat this resistance. And now that you can label this force that's holding you back, you can recognize it. And then you can decide for yourself whether you're willing to take action and move forward and beat resistance, or if you want to procrastinate and be a low performer for the rest of your career. That's literally what we're talking about here. When you understand what resistance is, beating it just means taking action when other people just procrastinate and stop moving forward. And the final step for perseverance, you've got to have some goals. Otherwise, what's the point in understanding resistance, beating it, and moving forward if you don't know where you're heading towards? And these aren't short-term goals. These are typically long-term goals that you're heading towards over the next 5 to 10 years. Persevering for 5 minutes, who cares? Anyone can do that. For 1 month, well, that's somewhat valuable, but most people can do a month of perseverance at a push. But when you're talking about 1, 2, 5, 10 years of perseverance, the average salesperson can't deal with that. They can't manage it. They can't hack it. And so when you move towards your goals over that period of time, you become so separated in the marketplace that it becomes very easy for buyers and employers to work with you. So what about passion? Because passion seems like this thing that just comes to us in the moment, and the science behind this is very clear. That is not true. Passion comes down to an equation as well. Passion is just your interests times the amount of time that you spend doing them. It's literally that simple. If you do something that you're somewhat interested in for long enough, it will eventually become a passion for you. And look, when I first started creating sales content, it was a means to an end. I had a slight interest in sales, psychology, business, and helping people. I started off here, but I could have gone down many different career paths or started many different types of businesses. But I went down this one long, winding route, and look, 6 years later now, getting over to the 5-10 year mark of the perseverance side of the equation. Now I've spent 6 years building Salesman.org and creating all of this content. I now am truly passionate for it. Why? Because I had a slight interest and I give it enough time. Creating this content, helping salespeople. I enjoy doing it. It's not a struggle anymore. And because of this, because I've developed this passion for the role, I get paid more than my peers. The business does more revenue than other sales training companies. And when other sales trainers are struggling to get out of bed to go to their boring, mundane sales training jobs that they really don't care about, because I've got this passion right here, I jump out of bed. I enjoy it. I'm literally got a big smile on my face as I create this video for you. So the point is, you do not need to become deeply passionate about your sales job. You just need to find what you're interested in. When I sold medical devices, I was interested enough in the imaging equipment as opposed to the office politics, the admin work, all the other stuff that was less interesting to me in the role. But I was just interested enough in the imaging equipment alone that, given then enough time, I became really passionate for that medical device sales job, which of course leads to more sales and leads you to developing this trait of sales hustle. So if you're a salesperson who's constantly changing industries, changing companies, and you're hoping that the grass is going to be greener on the other side, so you're here and you're changing jobs every 18 months, every 2 years, because you think that the grass is going to be greener on the other side, well, typically it isn't, because you're ignoring the time part of this entire equation. And so just stop for a second. Understand what sales hustle is. Understand that it leads you to becoming a top 1% salesperson. And all of the extra commissions, bonuses, promotions, whatever it is that comes along with that as well. Have a think how you can increase your perseverance by understanding what resistance is, beating it and setting goals, and how you can increase your levels of passion by having an interest in what you're selling or your customers or the sales process, whatever it is, and then just do it long enough that you build passion as well. So that's what sales hustle is, why it's important, and how to develop more of it over time. And if you enjoyed this video, why not give it a thumbs up and then continue making selling simple by clicking one of the videos that are on the screen right now.